Okay, guys, so thank you for coming. It's always so nice to have everybody here. My name is Shawn Woods. I know everybody in this room except for you guys seem to be new. I always tell my story why I started doing these seminars. I did it because I found there's so many people out there who do not have their act together, including my own family. And I got to go through the miserable process of taking them through probate, and it was not fun. And I was treated like a transaction. And when I had to move to Florida, I'm like, what the heck am I gonna do for work? So I got a real estate license. I'm gonna help people through probate. Well, I did that for like 5 years. And it was the most awful experience because everyone was so upset about the whole thing. So that's when I went back, I got more education. I figured out that there's a better way to do this. And how can I do that? By educating our community on what we need to do to get our act together before it's too late. And I've shared lots of stories with you about how people don't have the act together. In fact, one of those people is 91 and she's now has to go to a skilled living community because she's having a lot of trouble, but she hadn't done anything. So now we're doing everything in reverse, including trying to sell her stuff out of her house so they can get it ready because they want to rent it. And it's, it's really, it's difficult. It's really hard on the family. The kids work full time. They're trying to get this estate sale together, and and they need to take care of mom. They need to get her moved. They need to make sure she's set up. They want to go visit her. They don't have time to visit her because now they're trying to deal with the house. So that's not how we should do it. And you all are so smart for being here, and I thank you for that because it's really, it's not rocket science. We just got to do a couple things, right? Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about downsizing, and we have talked about this before, but I feel like it's one of those topics that we all could do, right? I can do it. I need to do it. And if you saw my house right now, it's a total train wreck because I'm having an estate sale inside of it for someone else, but that's okay. We are not defined by our stuff. And I brought a couple experts in today to talk to us about ways that we can kind of start getting on the bandwagon and start getting our stuff to other people, to bless them with it, and make our lives a lot better. And guess what? Maybe you don't have to dust around all that stuff anymore, okay? Let's just start looking at the positives. So I'd like to introduce Allie Wright and Andrea Decking, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And so, Allie, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah. Well, as she said, my name is Allie Wright. My husband and I have an estate sale company. It is Blue Moon Estate Sales. We're part of a nationwide franchise. And what we do is come in and help people with transitions, whether it's somebody who has had a relative pass, somebody who's downsizing, to go into a different stage of life. There's a lot of reasons that people have estate sales, but what we do is come in, we do a walkthrough to determine if there is enough to have an estate sale. At that point, once we've determined that, our team comes in, they do a staging, and they're curators. They make things look absolutely fantastic. And we stage it, we price it, and then the estate sale is usually 2 to 3 days according to how much is there. The purpose of an estate sale is to clear out the property for whatever reason. So one myth is that, a lot of times somebody will be like, I paid $4,000 for this, I need $4,000 for that after the fact. And that's not the case. It's a
Great.
lot of...
Okay, so this is
I'm sorry.
and you need to speak up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, because the people in the back.
My name is Andrea. I am a recovering retail executive who pivoted when I was helping my mother, who at 82 was moving from a 3-story, 4-bedroom townhome in Colorado to a 2-bedroom apartment. So 37 years of items. I think maybe 1 or 2 of you can probably relate if you're in the same home.
Yes.
We just accumulate things just from being on the planet. There's, things that come into our place and we need to reevaluate along the way because today things that serve you aren't from way back when they served you. So we'll talk about that.
Yes. I'm finding lots of things that no longer serve me. I'm like, why do I have this? Anyways, okay, so myths. What are, let me get the slide going right here. So the art of letting go, and it is an art. There are myths. What's the number one downsizing myth you wish you could erase? When people are coming to you and they're like, oh, I need help, what's the biggest myth that you're finding out there?
I think the myth is that they're going to get, X amount of dollars for something when they're trying to downsize quickly. And that is something that, with estate sales you have to educate with. So that is one of the biggest things, is that people have to understand what they're trying to do. Something that served you 30 years ago is not serving you now. And letting go of it is hard. It's an emotional thing, but we find that once that happens, people feel lighter and freed up.
Yeah. And Andrea, you have a great analogy for that.
Yeah, I do. If anyone has ever bought a car in their lifetime, today it's worth $30,000. You drive off the lot and it is no longer worth $30,000. It is now 24.2. And then you drive 5 miles down the road and all of a sudden it's $19,000. It's that kind of a mindset. Remember, you used it lovingly. Doesn't owe you anything. Thank you for all the beauty and joy that this bowl brought me. Let's give it another life to someone else.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. And did you have anything else about
Yeah, I was
myth?
gonna say, I'm not sure that it's a myth, but the words that always sort of give me a little bit of cringe is just in case. I'm gonna keep it just in case. Just in case what? Just in case. Well, if it's just in case because of hurricane, I get it. Let's keep the poncho and the box, but let's contain the box. We don't need something this big for a household of 2 people when you used to be a household of 6.
Right.
So really, let's right size your life. That's the goal.
Just in case.
The just in case is, it's not really a
my
myth, but
gosh.
it's a triggering statement.
Yeah, exactly. And now some people say that like downsizing means losing independence or what do I have to get rid of everything? I mean, what does it really look like when you downsize?
Yeah, I'll take that first. I mean, downsizing is not a dirty word. It's an opportunity to
Yes.
really, like I said, right size your life. If you take a look at the bag that you carry or the shoes that you're wearing versus what you see inside your home in your closet. I was with a client last night who just moved and she said, what am I going to do with all these bags? They were all the bags from the grocery store. I said, well, you're no longer a party of 5. You're now a party of 2. Do you need all of these? And she has other tools, a cart to help her with things. So are we really using all these bags? Let's put some things in there, drop them off at the donation center. They'll be very happy to
Yeah.
receive those. So there's a way to give things another life while taking the opportunity to really just create a space that serves you for your life today.
That is a great idea. Put the shopping bags by the door, have donate, whatever, and just put the stuff in
Yeah,
it.
I've done it with luggage as well. Again, I'm going to refer to my mom a lot because I just moved her for a second time in 10 years now to independent living. And she was a travel professional for many, many years. And she had 9 pieces of luggage. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I wanted her to remove some of them from her storage area. And she wasn't ready. And this time, what we did was we took blankets and books and things that we were donating and we put them in that luggage. Not only did we donate the items inside, but we donated the luggage that was in very good condition and usable. So,
I mean, the way I see it is, what is it doing collecting dust
Right.
in your closet? One, every time you look at it, it's a reminder of what was. And maybe you can't do that anymore. Like when I look at my closet, I'm like, I love that dress, but I am never getting it back in it again. Okay, I see that. But the other thing about it is, if you donate that stuff, think of the blessings you're going to give out there to people. People might need that. You know, they might be on the other side of the coin saying, I wish I could try, but I can't afford a suitcase.
Right.
But if there's a nice suitcase over at the Goodwill, they might be able to grab it and go.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think we have to think outside of ourselves sometimes and bless others with, you know, it's the hoarding of the stuff. Like, do you really need all that? Like, let's share the wealth, right? It says that in the Bible too. Jesus talked about that. We need to share with others. And anyways, Bible can tell you a lot of good things, how to live your life. It's a great manual. Okay, now, what happens when families wait too long to start? I told you the story of this when we started, right? This lady. And poor Allie and her husband are going to go and unravel this woman's house. But what happens when it's too late?
Well, I mean, it's more pressure on the family. You know, it's less time to deal with what you have to deal with as far as taking care of that person. And then you're tied up, like you said, with taking care of the property and taking care of the things that are not as important as that person, but they have to be dealt with. So when you decide that you're going to downsize, you know, it's an important gift to your family members. We're dealing with another estate sale right now, and it is a double layer. The mom passed away in '95. Was organized, had everything perfect. A daughter inherited that property, and that daughter has since passed away, and it's fallen to another daughter. But the daughter that inherited was a hoarder. And so we are having to deal with all of that before we get to the layer of the good stuff. And it is, this poor lady is just overwhelmed. I mean, she can't grieve her sister because she's not from here. She's driving from Atlanta every other week trying to deal with this. So the pressure that is now on her, you know, because of inheritance is just unreal. So and what we do is try, you know, we sort that out. We help people through the emotional part of that, and that's why we like what we do. But it is very hard on families, and it takes away time to actually process loss or whatever when they're just trying to deal with the legal and the amount of stuff that's there.
Yeah.
So that is very painful for family members and overwhelming.
One thing I want to add to that, and what I experienced myself, is I did it myself. So as I'm going through my family's things, I'm going down memory lane. It took me so much longer. It was an emotional roller coaster with everything that was going on, and it was really hard. And at the time, I kept saying, I wish there was someone like me to come in here who is totally neutral, has no emotional attachment, like one of these ladies would have, because they'll get it done so much faster. So when, you know, I've had people, you know, I've referred people to some of my organizers and things like that, and they command a good price because they are saving you so much time. It is worth every single penny.
And not just time, but emotional angst. Just the fact of, you know, and this is, some people have trouble letting go once they've hired an estate sale company. You know, what we like to do, and ideally, is that people get out of our way and let us do our job. Because it would take somebody years to sell their stuff on eBay or sell it on Marketplace, plus the emotional cost of that. So the most successful sales are the ones where people are at a point in their lives where they're like, I don't want to deal with this now. I'm hiring you to do it. I trust you. Take care of this for me. And then we're able to do our job, and we bless you. So it's amazing when somebody comes into our sales to buy things and they find something that, you know, they needed or they wanted, and it gets a second life. It's a, you know, if it's a great piece of art or glass or whatever, to see that move on to another life of its own instead of ending up in a landfill or ended up being somebody else's problem later on. It's very fulfilling.
I just tag on to that, and I think the one thing that as professionals we're able to do is we're able to separate the memory from the item.
Yes.
right? And so that's
Yes.
where we can go through and make more methodical decisions. If you're under the wire, doing it yourself, there's so much emotion attached to everything. You're making rapid decisions. They're not going to be the most effective, both physically, economically, and certainly if you're under a time crunch, there's that. So, yeah, it's not that you want to lose the emotion. If you love it, but you know you can't hold on to that anymore, take a photo, put it in a frame.
Yeah.
There are ways to celebrate the memory of the item without having to lug it along to every place that you
Correct.
live.
Like me, from 2013, I've got stuff that's in this cedar chest still that I'm lugging around. And guess what? It's going. But there's also something called Artifact. It's a place where you can store. You can take a picture of something. You can write the story of that item. You can share it with all your family so everyone can remember the piano that Grandma used to play. No one wants that piano today, but you've told the story, you've kept the memory alive, and now you donate it, and somebody who is a budding pianist now has a piano, and you've just created, the next concerto specialist, right? So, I mean, we have to think down the line. Like, we never know what we do how it's gonna affect the future. So, and if anyone does need a piano, I have one that's coming up for sale. A baby grand. It's really pretty. Okay, so here we go. Brass tacks. What's it really worth? People think that they paid what it's worth, but we just heard that it's not. So typically, like when someone has an estate sale, on average, what can they realize out of all their stuff? I mean, are they going to make a fortune, or what are they going to break even, or what's going to happen?
No, they're not going to make a fortune. You're not going to make a fortune off of the things that you have. The things that, one thing that comes to mind is the Beanie Baby craze. Remember that? We were going to everybody was going to get Beanie Babies and pass those on, and now you can't hardly get rid of Beanie Babies. So it is a kind of a myth, the investment of things. When somebody buys something, it needs to be because it brings them joy, not because they're investing in things to pass on. And it is harder with the generation now. The young people don't want China. They don't want crystal. It's not their lifestyle now. So, what that is worth, what it was paid for is not what it's going to bring. What you're doing with an estate sale is looking at the overall clear out and the overall, hopefully, you're going to get value. We've never had an estate sale where where things didn't break even with that. We've written checks for people for $20,000. We've written checks for $300 after the cost. It's according to what's there, how many people come, and what the value is. The value is what somebody will pay for it, not what it shows that it's worth in Google Lens. And with an estate sale, you are trying to move a whole household of stuff in a few days. So that is important to understand. Did you have a question?
There's a bunch.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is the most important thing to remember. When we make sure when we go in to do an estate sale that our goals are the same as the person who's going to have the estate sale. If their goal is I want top dollar for this, I paid $10,000 for that, I won't take less than $7,000 for that, an estate sale is not the way they need to go. We need to make sure we're on the same page before we accept an estate sale, and that's the hardest part for some people. Yes.
I have a question for both of you. How did you educate yourselves to assess what has worth and what is only emotional?
Okay. Well, we are part of a franchise, so we have tools that we use in pricing. And so when we go through a property, we see what's there. We use our pricing tools. We use our knowledge from what we know. And Florida is different than it would be in Texas. People may pay some more in some areas than they would here. A good example is big pieces of furniture. In Florida, furniture is very hard to sell. And a lot of people feel like, I have this big China cabinet, it's worth blah, blah, blah. We paid blah, blah, blah for it. Well, right now people aren't using China. So you've already got a disadvantage with that. So we do our tools, our pricing from the tools that we have and from our experience in that. Does that answer that question?
Yes.
Does that help?
And I would say very similarly, although I'm not a franchise, I'm a solo agent over here. A lot of it is experience, looking at a comparable through a Google lens or what have you, and realizing what is the condition. And if you see that there are a multitude of water bottles, then we know that they're probably not going to be as worth as much. And is it better to get a brand new one for sanitary reasons or what have you? You know, I just did an office with a client, and I said, you have a lot of pens and highlighters, and she said, yeah, I only like this one pen. I said, so why do we have all the other ones? And she said, I just accumulated them. She was a retired teacher. And I said, well, let's give them to the teachers. So we literally filled up a 2-gallon Ziploc bag with highlighters and Sharpies and pens, and you know, maybe some of them don't work. We didn't take the time to do that, but we're sharing that with them, and that's just a gift, just pass on. So some things have worth and some things don't. Some of it, you know in your heart of hearts that it has worth, but there does need to be a little bit of realism, you know, tamped through the process of evaluating. I know nobody's gonna really want this. I dropped it, it has a dent. In case you didn't know, this is my favorite color.
Bags too.
And so yeah, I think it's a bit of time and self-education.
So I'm learning too, because all of you on my email list see that I have lost my mind and I did an online auction. So I did it because one of my clients, good stuff didn't sell, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. So I foolishly brought it to my little condo, and I'm doing it online. But I can tell you that a 14-piece Noritake china set with all the stuff, right? The sugars, the port, the gravy boat, all of it. I sold online $22.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, $22. That Hummel that you've been keeping forever, $1.
Yeah.
Okay, now one of the things that did get the most, a broken cuckoo clock got $32, but I have to confess, I did bid on that because I want to figure out how to repair it, because I love cuckoo clocks. And then another cool thing was this toy belt buckle that's this from the 50s, and you flip the side and the little gun pops out and you can pull it off, and it shot spring-loaded bullets. That closed at $24. So, you know, but we got rid of everything, and that's the whole point. Is instead of calling out the junk haulers, you taking all the time, you're driving to the Goodwill, you're donating it off, you're doing all this stuff, having an estate sale and having a good amount of stuff. And this is only like if you're moving, right? If you're getting ready to move, this is really beneficial. You have people now coming and paying to take it away instead of you paying. What, you know, that junk hauler, do you know how much one of those trucks costs to come to your house? Starts at $800. $800. Movers, like to have movers come and do it and take everything out, and they'll just take it to the dump too, by the way. Like $1,200.
And that's the hardest thing, is to see really good things that people could use go to the dump.
Go to the dump.
Without, you know, and you, the best way to look at it when you have an estate sale is you're not looking at each individual item, you're looking at your overall. Your overall goal is to clear everything out. You will, you know, make some money off of it. You'll bless other people with the things they're getting, and they'll have a new life. So estate sales are not to realize exactly what you paid for something.
The other thing, I think, just to tag onto that, Allie, is, you know, you may have an entire home, an entire life worth of items, and you may have friends or family that you want to give something to.
Yes.
Be careful about giving away all the stuff in advance of contacting a pro, because they need volume. You know, they're not just going to come in and say, oh, we only have china, glassware, and a couple of little knickknacks.
Yeah.
They really do need the volume. So then it becomes now another level of needing to hire someone to do the online auctions and things like that. And that is an inordinate amount of time.
Yes, I will attest to
And
that.
work.
Time and work and touching
But
it.
I'm
and-
doing it because we have to have a solution, because HOAs, we don't have enough stuff. We can do small things. That's all that's what I'm reserving that for. But having enough stuff is definitely key.
And if you're in a situation where you have inherited and you need to have an estate sale for somebody else, other than, than downsizing your things, you would want to make sure not to go through and throw away things or donate things until you have an estate sale company come in and look at it, because you can very well donate yourself out of the ability to have an estate sale, because we
Correct.
have to have enough things to come in
Right.
and make it profitable for us to do that.
And enough attractive items.
Yes.
And what would those be? Because we've talked about what's not, your Hummels, your
Yeah.
China,
Well-
but what does draw people in?
Well, there are all sorts of things that people want and are interested in. When we do an estate sale, we post over 200 individual pictures from what's going to be there. So it could be, some people come for clothes, some people come for just really unique items. We have customers who are resellers, we have customers who are hunters, who are the people who show up on that first day for that item they want, and then we have customers who come toward the end when we start discounting things even more. They're the bargain hunters. So we've got a lot of different customers that are looking for that. The items that you will get the most value of will be things like your gold and silver. That we get top dollar for. We don't charge the same thing as a pawn shop or a jewelry store on our percentages with that. Weapons, they sell very well. Guns, knives, any sort of collections like that. Practical things like the things in the kitchen, appliances, small appliances, those things sell well. And there is no rhyme or reason to it. We try to look for patterns, and the patterns just are not there. We had this theatrical vampire cloak that was it was not like from Spirit Halloween. It was something used in a play, or the person we were doing the estate sale for was a musician, so very talented, and we were like, that probably won't sell. It sold on the first day, and it was like, okay, go figure. So we play a game within our team of what will be the first thing to sell, what won't sell, and
I love it.
It's
Wagers. Put wagers down.
Yeah. it is really odd. So and that's what keeps our jobs interesting. But there's just
Is there a limit on how big the item has to be?
no.
Okay.
We've sold baby grand pianos. We've sold teeny tiny little pieces of jewelry. So
Cars. Yeah.
For the online auction, how do you just do that for local clients? Or
Yeah,
how
it's
do you
just
get-
local. It's local pickup, and I do it for my clients as an added addition to my services. I don't just go out and do it for people. Like, I don't have the time for that. But if I've got, like right now, I've got a house that we're getting ready to rehab, and I need to get the piano out, the elliptical machine, some other exercise things, and a sewing machine if anyone's looking, and a ladder, some like little lots of stuff. And I'm gonna take that and put it into a combined sale with someone else who they didn't get all their stuff sold. So yes, I'm looking forward to having my whole condo back to myself without boxes all over the place. But it's an addition, an add-on. I would like to expand that to have it be an offering, but I can't run it, and I need to find someone who could do that and do it as a side thing, because it's an inordinate amount of work.
I think the one thing, the theme here is to take action sooner rather than later. Because if you are under a deadline, whether it's moving or a change in the household, people are coming in or going out, you want to make sure that you have as much time to deal with any of the items that you want to remove from the home. Otherwise, you're going to start hitting up against your deadline, and then you're going to have to make some really rapid decisions that may not be the best decision,
Correct.
may not yield the most if you're trying to sell it, so that you may need to call a junk hauler, and it's going to go straight to the dump, which would really be unfortunate for items that have second and third lives.
And it's never too early. We have a bag
Absolutely.
that we sit down and if you take off a shirt, and I don't like this anymore, it's
In the back.
Absolutely.
once or twice a month, all to one of the thrift stores.
That's really, can I piggyback on that?
Yeah.
Well done. Gold
Yes.
star.
That's the queen.
Okay. Hail to the queen. When I work with people on clothing, specifically when you referenced a shirt, is it's really, I say, ask yourself 3 questions. Do I love it? Do I look amazing in it? Does it fit my lifestyle? Is it today? If it's a midriff that you used to wear when you went clubbing in your 20s, probably not, unless you're gonna save it for Halloween, okay? And then the third thing is, would I buy it again? If you answered yes to any of those, we're keeping that. If it's a not so sure, I think I would wear it underneath my sweater, but okay, we're not gonna get rid of that because that's a maybe. If it's a no, take it out, off the hanger, out of the closet, out of the drawer, into a bag, into a box, put it in your car, and get rid of it. Do not let it hang around the house. With some frequency, go drop it at a donation center, right? Or if you know, a lot of people give things to a neighbor or a school or a housekeeper or someone who will be able to get it to another life. And I really, really love the idea of having a donation bag, if you will. But remember, we can't just donate everything that we don't want. It needs to be in good condition. It needs to be clean. The buttons need to be attached. Zippers working, not really stained. If those are the things, those belong in the trash. And then the other items that can truly be worn again could go to another life. And that example works, and those 3 questions work with every area of your home. Bathroom and kitchen.
I have trouble with the how many of these do I need?
Right.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, they're all perfectly great black t-shirts or something.
Okay, right. So t-shirts, underwear, socks, those kind of things are different than spatulas. Do you
I just
need
got rid of spatulas.
6 spatulas? Oh, well, one's a fish spatula, one's a this spatula, one's I use for the... But really, ask yourself, and be ruthless, ask yourself the hard questions. Am I using them? And regarding the black t-shirts, if that's part of your uniform that you wear every day, then maybe you do. But you may want to take them all out, lay them next to each other and say, this one's a little worn, frayed at the edge, faded, stretched out, goodbye. Now I'm down to 4. So it's those kind of questions. Everyone here deserves first quality items in their life. You deserve to put on a shirt that looks great on you, that fits you, that is not stained, and that is gonna make you feel good.
Yes, because there's nothing worse than putting that shirt on. You get out there like, oh, this is the one that has the hole.
Right. And then you put it on and you say, you know what, I'm not wearing this today. We'll do exactly what Mike says and put it in the bag. Someone else would love to have that.
Not with the hole.
Not with the
Not
hole.
with the hole. Not with the hole. It's just that
Yes.
you're not feeling fabulous in this item today.
That one does
Forever.
not look amazing.
Exactly. It doesn't look amazing. It doesn't make me feel good. And when I say amazing, I'm not saying like, the cover of Vogue, like you've got to be, fabulous. It needs to fit you. It needs to be clean and fresh and not stained, not ripped, not broken, and make you feel good.
Yes. I think those are some really practical tips. And I would say that if you're feeling overwhelmed by this, like, oh my gosh, just start small. Start with that junk drawer. We all have them. Okay, do you need 20 rubber bands from the broccoli? It's there. All those old batteries? No. I mean, so start with something small. Maybe go in your bathroom, go in the medicine cabinet. There's expired stuff in there, get it out. Just dump it. Pantry, same thing, which, by the way, don't bring expired food to my food truck. We can't have it. But go look at your cans, and just dump it. That helps a lot.
I think that's a really good point, is the best place to start are those that aren't really triggered by emotions. Do not start in your closet.
No.
That is a big one. So start in that junk drawer. Start in bathroom. It's not going to be like, oh my God, I loved this hairbrush since I was 5. No, you probably bought one recently, but also take a look at that. It may need to be cleaned. But the thing is that go to the items that have less emotional attachment, and you will really surprise yourself at how quickly you can take care of it. So start with one drawer, that's your homework. Start with one drawer, whether it's in your kitchen or in your bathroom. Remove everything, wipe the drawer out, only put back what you want to keep. And then you'll see what's remaining on the countertop, and you say, oh my gosh, it's expired makeup, it's the end of a toothpaste thing. Or, bye, thank you, thanks for coming, thanks for going.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's freeing. It frees up the bandwidth in your brain. I know for me it does. It makes your life so much easier. And then you get to live in this beautifully curated home of only things that you like. So every time you turn around, it's like, it's just wonderful. Yes, I need to practice what I preach, but I'm getting there. I'm getting
Do
there.
y'all have information about what to do with your old telephones, when
Sell
you
them
get
at the estate sale because people want to buy that stuff.
They do?
Yes.
You mean like old
Yeah.
cell phones with
Cell-
all your information in them? I think she means like.
So there's two aspects to it. The physical devices, yes, absolutely, you can sell those, but you'll want to wipe them before. So
Okay. And
there
how do
are.
you find out about how to do that?
So, there's obviously, ways to guide you through it online. Professionals can help you as well, but most devices have the ability to do like wipe your information, do a factory reset, which will wipe everything. So it basically will come back up and say, hi, welcome to, Samsung.
Yeah, but if say they've been sitting around for a long time, you don't even have them charged
Sure,
or any of
sure.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do.
Apple
Yeah.
will take things back. I think Apple will take any of their things back,
Yeah.
wipe them out, and take them. Best Buy
They
takes
will.
some
Take
stuff
them to
too.
Best Buy.
Yeah, Best Buy.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things, go
Okay,
to
same
some
with
of these.
computers. Anybody have
Yes.
old laptops
Yeah,
and that kind of thing?
yeah, and definitely, I just did this recently for a personal device. I found way, way, way deep in the recesses of a drawer, like an iPhone 4. I mean, what are we at 20 now or something?
Yeah.
But then I must have been keeping it because I wanted the pictures. I didn't care about a phone contact because if anybody wants to find me or I want to find them,
Right.
I know their number today. So I took it to Apple. They were able to pull the photos off, send them to me or bring them to my Apple account, wipe the device, and then it ended up just being a donation because it had no value, which I didn't care about that. I just really wanted the asset on it. The same thing with the computer.
Yeah.
They can probably do it if it's a Mac. If not, I would definitely try Best Buy. They have a program for that.
Okay.
But you want to get that authorization that they actually have wiped it.
Right.
And when we have an estate sale on those electronics, we do need them to be wiped beforehand because there's some things that people have that maybe can cause problems for somebody who buys it. So,
Right.
that's one thing that's really important is to make sure that they're wiped clean before you employ an estate sale company.
It's a very good question.
Barbara?
What's your advice for old photos? Before digital, you've got albums, you've got slides.
Okay, remember I talked about moving my mom? Okay, so there were two things. So about 4 years ago, again, I went down a rabbit hole and I found 16 and 8mm reel-to-reel film. Because we used to have it when I was growing up, but then for some reason we never converted it and it's just sitting in a thing. I sent that out to an archivist and now I have it so that it's on the cloud. We had a family dinner. We showed a little thing and it was great. I mean, they were back, they were filmed that didn't even have sound. So we were making up sound. I mean, there's my mother having a martini and smoking a cigarette and now she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. But the thing is that there are so many services to do it. Recently, I've just used something on my phone. It's called PhotoMine, MYNE. Again, you just open the photo album, you take a picture, and if there are 3 photos in there, it will resize them, recolor them, put them in an album. You can do that. You can share it with anybody that you want. So there are a lot of tools out there. You know, some are free and they make you do more work. Some cost, which this one that I just referenced costs. But it's a lot cheaper than sending it to the archivist, which was like a $1,200 or $1,300 thing, because it was the film and 800 slides. But I was happy to do it because I didn't have the time. It is very time consuming. Lifetime of photos. Most of them now are on the device, right? So that's another thing if you want to get those off to make a photo book or even just print out a photo to put on your fridge. There are, you know, ways to get all that. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a really big one.
Would that work for recipes? My mom
Sure.
had a bunch
Yeah.
of recipes
Sure.
and somebody's trying
Yeah.
to put all that together and they can't do it. So.
Yeah, no, that's really wonderful. And actually what I did was I laminated some for somebody because it was in their grandmother's handwriting, and you know, there's the coffee stain on the thing. And I mean, that's precious. So you want to definitely, I mean, I kind of have goosebumps thinking
Yeah, I
about
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
So there's also Epson makes a scanner, photo scanner. And have you ever seen at the casino the card dealer thing? You put them in and it spits the cards out. It kind of looks like that, but it's bigger. And you just take the photos and load them in, and it just goes. Bzz, bzz, bzz. So I have one of those. It's something I do for my clients. And
It's great if you have them loose, but if
Yeah.
they're in photo
they're in
albums,
photo
the
albums.
challenge sometimes is how old they are. When
Yeah,
you
it's
take
just
it, it
stuff.
sticks and it ruins it. So that's why I went with this situation.
And slides are another whole issue too.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And those, they have slide readers,
Mm-hmm.
and usually you probably have them in a nice box, or in a carousel, right? How they used to be shown. Hey, you want to come see my slideshow from my trip
Yeah,
to
right.
Egypt? This is me on a camel. Nobody wants that now. You may want it, but
Yeah.
Lorraine?
What about paper clutter? Old cards, article, you know, you just have a lot of paper clutter.
Yeah.
What do you guys do with that?
Shredded.
yeah. So is it, you know, again, asking yourself the questions, you know, does this serve me today? Do I need it? And again, the just in case in paper is a little bit different. So for example, if it's old tax documents, you know, you want to keep those for 3 years. If there's a chance of an audit or something, 7 years. If they're selling of some property, 10 years. So there are guidelines about how to keep it. If it's old newspaper articles, old recipes that you have kept, you know, we can, you know, make a snapshot, or business cards. We can make a snapshot of it and create an album on your phone or on your computer and call it old recipes, old business cards, and then they go right into the garbage. We shred them, we recycle. If it's a recipe, you don't shred it, but. So I think it's, if you're comfortable accessing things digitally, you can save a lot of space with paper.
Sometimes to save all the cards you got for your birthday or this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Anything you get, oh, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Now, especially if it's, you open the card and it just says, love Andrea. That's really great. Thank you, Andrea, for the wish. Bye. And I'm not gonna be sad that you got rid of it. Now, if it has roses are red, violets are red, and it's like a poem that I wrote specifically for you, maybe you wanna keep that. There are companies, again, because there's a company for everything, that will take the birthday cards and they will take a photo of the front and take a photo of the inside, and you can almost kind of create like a coffee table book and be like, this was from my 50th, my 60th, my wedding anniversary, my fill in the blank, whatever. First grandson's, you know, something. But I think it's time that they go. And you can enjoy it and read them, but don't get hung up on doing it too long, because that's a memory lane that, oh gosh, I remember they were my old neighbor 5 houses ago. Yeah, okay. It's a beautiful memory, but you don't need the card.
One thing, you know, a lot of you might not know, I was a feng shui practitioner. I studied with a master for years and years and years.
I didn't.
A feng shui master. So the art of placement, that Chinese art of placement. So what I understood, and when we looked at a person's house, they'd be like, "Oh, you gotta come help me. I'm having money trouble." I'm like, "Okay, well, let's go look." So the house is divided into segments that represent portions of your life. And we go and look, and it's like, "Well, what's all this stuff? Oh, that stuff, those are all my birthday cards. That's all this blah, 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 all these boxes." And I'm like, "Well, would you be surprised to know that you're storing this in your wealth block? Maybe if you freed that up, it would let some more energy flow through here, so your money might turn around." Okay, when we hang on to stuff like that, it represents stuck energy. And if you stick it right in something that's important like that, or your health area, or whatever, it could impact it. At least that's the thought process behind all that. But what I did find out, and I know for a fact myself, which is why I'm like, I got to get on my house, is all that stuff, it is stuck energy. And guess what else it does? It collects dust.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes your house dirty. It clogs your mind. It
weighs
wrecks,
you down.
It weighs you down. It gets in your psyche. And just finishing this auction and seeing all that stuff walk out the door on someone else's power, not mine. Oh my God, I'm like, yes. And I get to give my clients, I think they're gonna make like $350 off of stuff. So I think that's good. They're very happy about that. So anyways, Lorraine?
I have some questions about the feng shui.
Oh, well, I don't really
That's another
practice it
seminar.
anymore because it's like
Oh.
kind of, there's a little bit of idol worship and things in there, but I do still have the ideas of what to do and how to place things. That's why my house is so fast, because we stage it appropriately when people listen to me. And, it's just something to think about.
Thinking about it too, in your gut, when you walk into a space, you're like, God, this is wonderful. I love this home. God, I can't believe that, Sean, you set up your home beautifully. It's so warm and so welcoming and inviting.
Yeah.
Versus walking into a space and you're like, oh my God, it's like I feel icky. I
Yeah.
feel maybe it's a smell. Maybe it's the way that everything, there's so much clutter that I can't get to the water bottle because I got to go through, 5 other things to get there.
Yeah.
If you now walk into your home after listening to us talk about the items that you have surrounding you, you may have a new perspective. And rearranging the furniture isn't just a kooky idea. It's actually a really great way to repurpose and revisit.
Yes.
Get your mind thinking differently about how your space can serve you in a better way. Is the TV in the right spot? Is the chair facing the TV, but you want to look outside at the lake? Make those small adjustments and you will really notice a difference, and
Yes.
you feel it.
You do feel it. And so usually I sell vacant homes because now we've gotten everything out, and then I virtually stage it. But sometimes I do have a occupant living in the house still. The seller's still there, and we've got all the things. The number one key when we go in is we have to pare this down. Oh, but I gotta have all my stuff. Okay, are we here to sell the house? Yes. Are we selling your things? No, those are my things. Okay, well, let's let people focus on what it is we're selling. It's not your stuff. If they can't see the house for all your stuff, guess what's gonna happen to your price? It's gonna go down. And if it doesn't look good in the pictures because, you open the MLS and you're looking at the houses, you're scrolling through it, and which, by the way, if you have a condo or a house, there's a lot of houses on the market right now that aren't moving. You want yours to stand out, but if people look at your photos and they're like, oh, no, I can't do that. There's no storage in that house. Why would someone say that? Because you've got stuff everywhere. Every closet is bursting at the seams. You can go and look on whatever thing you look at houses with, and you will see, like, why didn't that agent go and help those people get their house ready to make it marketable, make it attractive to someone else? My job is to get you as much money as possible for your home. And if putting some of that, you're moving anyways, get some boxes and put it in it. Start packing, get ahead of the game, stick those boxes in the garage and make your house sell and look better, you know? So that's something that I'm a stickler on. And I've got one that she's not listening and, you know, I'm like,
It's
but
not
I gotta
moving.
have it. No, you don't. So I didn't care. Finally, I put all the teddy bears in a cupboard. I'm like, we're not doing this. Get over it. So anyways, yeah.
Another thing that's going on now is, young people do not wanna see the popcorn ceilings anymore.
No, they don't.
That is amazing, cause I mean, that was, people used that for generations, for decades.
Yeah.
But now the young people, they walk in, they see it, they walk right out, they don't wanna look
Yeah.
at it.
So right now the market has shifted and it's a price war and a beauty contest and you've got to win both. So you do, and that's what I do. So one of our students here, I just sold their house and they lovingly lived in it for 37 years. And it looked like it was 37, okay? So, and thankfully they are smart people and we had some reserve funds, so we got them all moved and then I came in and for a nominal amount of money, not a ton, but you know, we put some elbow grease into it and we fixed this house. So if we would have sold it in the condition it was in, I'm thinking it probably would have been like a 450 house, 450, because someone would have to put a lot of money and work and time into it. We put a small amount of money, and guess what? They got 600 for it in 5 days, and it closed in 30. So 35 days, and we took a month. I mean, you know, let's go, but it really made a
Makes
difference.
a difference.
And we'll talk about that more because it's kind of a case study. I've started doing more like a rehab for people or prehab because when people come in, if you have a home that's going to attract like a first-time home buyer, and I'm sorry we're getting off on this topic, but I think it's important. They have already are squeezing themselves to come up with that down payment. And now to move into a house that needs $20,000, $30,000 of work, it's not happening, friends. They're gonna have to move in and that's it. Or they're not gonna want it. They want a turnkey house. People want turnkey. And that's at any age bracket right now because y'all don't wanna deal with it. These kids don't have the money to do it. The only people who have the money to do it are the investors and they want everything cheap. So I think it's important and it all kind of goes back to our stuff. If you're gonna be in there, we wanna maximize your equity. You earned it, you deserve to keep all of it in your pocket. And that's what I focus on when I help people. So, I'm off my soapbox now.
And that's a good way to put it, is the equity, don't destroy your equity by not getting rid of
Your stuff.
possessions.
Yeah, correct. I mean, if they can't see the garage because you got so much damn dandy stuff in there, they're gonna be like, I couldn't fit my car in here. Well, no, not with all this junk.
I have a few questions too, since you're a realtor. How do you find equitable or people who are to tell you the truth? Because my daughter, what happened was she did the inspection, they told her it was okay. She kept smelling the stuff when she'd go into the house. She thought it was the dog, the
Oh,
pet dander, but it was more than that. And then she hired an AVAC person to come out and check. There's literally the entire wires and everything just covered in mold. And now she got to put these ultraviolet lights up. But why didn't the inspector passed it. So how do you make sure you got a decent one that's gonna be honest with
you
you?
have to work with professionals who hire other professionals. So every person I brought up here to this table have been vetted by me. I checked them out first, except for the guy last month. I did check him out, but he flaked out, I think. You have to work with people who have good people. It's Florida. It's the land of the scam. You guys know that. Okay, I say it all the time. Like, we have to be careful about who we bring into our house, who we hire. There's plenty of people running out there trying to get in your pocket. I tell you that every month. So that's why I'm here as a resource. You all should have my phone number by now. If I can't answer, just leave a message and you know, if you need somebody for something, I most likely have that resource. I have good inspectors. I have an inspector who came out and did a pre-listing for me, and he said, well, it all looks okay now, but once we have to change pipes, do a couple things. Once we're done with that, let's come back out again and check it. And he can test for the mold in the house. So I'm already looking for those things because I'm a professional and I put good quality things on the market. If I'm gonna put a house on the market, it has to have gone through my integrity. Okay? There's a lot of people out there operating with no integrity. So
So you don't have to find the ones that are good. You don't have to find them.
yeah, I work with them, you know, and I look them up. You research them. You do a Google search. You look at Better Business Bureau. I mean, you have to be an informed consumer. Which brings me to my next point about what should people look for when they're going to hire somebody who does what you guys do. You know, because there's a lot of people running out there doing it now in the
Right.
state space. Okay, that's why we have someone, you know, that
Right.
I've checked out.
Right, and that's with estate sale companies, you will hear a lot of nightmares. It's not a regulated industry, there's nothing that regulates that. And I can only speak for my company, we're part of a franchise, so we are held to certain standards. And it's why we chose this, was because of the standards that we're held to, the integrity, the caring for it. So again, you just have to vet and vet and vet, and to come. That's why we like having relationships with realtors and people like Sean who are helping people, because those are the people that we want to bond and connect with, because we offer a service that we're not going to scam anybody. We are in this business to be in this business, not just get something in and then leave. And you're trusting somebody to all your possessions in your house. We're coming into your house. We protect your privacy. A lot of times we will have people who come to our sales, and again, we have two customers. One is the person who's hired us to do the estate sale, and the other is customers that come to our estate sales. Sometimes we will have people come in and ask a lot of questions. Now, if the house is for sale, we let them know that, but we don't disclose personal information. You know, if people are saying, you know, why it's this or what's happened to the person who's here, we're protective of that. We protect our front end customers. You know, it's important to have that integrity and that understanding. So you want to be careful. You know, look at reviews, look at reputations, and just, you know, like you said, it's Florida. That was hard for me when we moved here to come to terms with how Florida is in certain things. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful.
Well, I concur with all of that. I am a very big privacy person. I will not share anything. There is no, you know, judgment. If you are working with me, I tell you, please, please don't clean or tidy before I come. I want to see it in all of its glory so that we can optimize it, because the way that it is before anything is done is how you're living. And I want to be able to evaluate it to make sure that the individual way that I'm going to help you curate your home is going to work for you and everyone in the house. So I always have my intake questions about how many two-legged, how many four-legged, any special needs, dietary or physical, and so on and so forth. And they're very, very important. And those are the overarching guidelines that I use. I'm not homogenous kind of organizer that will come in and try to make it, you know, an Instagram photo or an Architectural Digest kind of home. I'm looking to work with real people and create a really functional home for them where things are accessible and visible and beautiful. You took all this time to bring these items into your home. You've curated them one by one over the years. And I'm not just talking about like a can of soup. I'm talking about the reason that you have the KitchenAid mixer. I have an orange one. I've used
Imagine
it
that.
twice. But it's decor for me. So it's an objet that I love to look at. I'm not using it, I don't bake. There are plenty of beautiful bakeries out there that we can go to. So it's really just trying to understand if somebody would say, hey, Andrea, you don't bake. Yeah, I know. I know. I just love this item, and that's an exception. So what I did was I came up with a couple of decluttering tips, and I put them over there for you all. All of this stuff is just a guideline of where to start. And so, you know, I told you about the 3 questions. You know, do I love it? Does it look amazing? Or does it fit into my lifestyle? If you have that old brown furniture that you had all the china in, but everything else is light and bright, maybe it's time to get rid of that. So just thinking about that, and then would I buy it again? So if you think about those questions as you're looking at decluttering your place, start small, one space at a time. Decide once, don't hem and haw. If you can't decide, it's keep. Then you come back and revisit that again, right? And then take breaks. Take a lot of breaks. Work for 10 minutes, put a timer on your phone, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever you think you have the bandwidth. Put on some good music and you're gonna go. Sit, bring the items to you. You don't have to bend over. Don't make this a really physical. And then sometimes you gotta ask for help. You can't reach the things, or the old paper box is heavy. Ask for help, call a professional, you can do it. And then I gave you some tips. 10 things you can do in 10 minutes to feel more organized. So grab both of these and, you know, reach out if you need anything. Yep, good job, you got it.
Yeah, they're good.
And she's referencing music. The way I always talk about it when I move people, I said, you know what? Your new apartment, it's going to be the greatest hits of your life.
I
So
love
when
that.
you walk in, you're going to be like, oh, there's that thing, and then you're just going to love it. You know, people have cried when I bring them to their new place because they haven't seen the things in years. Why? Because it was buried. But by getting to know them, we figure out what's important to them, and then we take those things. And I don't let them come in, so I'm just warning you now if you work with me. You have to go away in the morning of the move. Bye-bye. You go away. We've worked on what we've got. I get it, and I like to set the place up, the new place up, and let you come in and be surprised by what I mean, everything's on the walls, the bed's made, the linen's put away, everything's done. So,
Nice.
and you do that, Andrea does
I
that
do
too.
that
So
too.
I'm hoping to work with her too, to get her to help me, 'cause it's a lot.
It's a lot.
But people walk in and they're like, oh my gosh. I mean, these are mostly memory care patients or people who are, you know, doing that. They don't have the capacity to do that. So I work with the family and the client to figure that out. But
Yeah, I've done a couple of projects with somebody who was looking to sell their home, and I helped with the closet, and I created this beautiful closet. She said, "Oh my God, I don't want to move. I love my closet."
no,
And I said, "They were all your items. I just made them beautiful, right? I just took them and made them really appealing." And I said, "Well, we'll do it at the other place too." But the point is that it's there. You have it. You already did it.
yeah.
So now we just need to clear away the noise and
Yeah.
keep all the greatest hits, the good stuff.
Exactly. We're gonna weed the garden, edge the lawn, cut the grass, make a pretty front yard. So, all right. I think we're at questions now. Let me see. Yes, questions. I think do we have any more questions? Or we've asked most of them.
I have one.
Yeah.
I have a lot of old in my garage. My husband passed away, and he had a lot of like old screwdrivers, pliers. I mean, nobody really wants them, but I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, those are, first of all, if they're like old, as in used and rusty and a little bit icky, or old kind of antique.
Kind of.
There's probably
Kind
a
of both.
combination. Those are probably items that they can sell in the
Those would sell in the estate
in the
sale.
estate
Yeah,
sale.
really.
Tools
Yeah.
do well, any sort of lawn care equipment, things
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
do really well with
Yeah.
estate sales.
I've also shared it. In fact, before I came here, I met a handyman at a house that is actually just had an inspection and under contract and everything. And we just had to do one or two little things. And I said to him, listen, I have this bag of blah, blah, blah. And he said, great, I'll go through it. Whatever I don't use, I'll recycle, and thank you very much. So those are the kind of things where if you don't have a huge estate sale to have, you can just do a one-off giveaway to,
Yeah, I
maybe
mean, I've-
even to the landscaper or
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
someone.
I've tried a few of those.
Okay,
things, but-
and if they don't want it, you can just recycle.
Yeah, yeah.
Or ask a professional if they know someone who would take, old
Right,
tools.
because I understand that today, people don't want electrical drills and they want the battery charged.
Yeah.
Nobody really wants.
Oh, to have it plugged, yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people do.
It
want
depends.
They sell it at estate sales, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I used mine last night. I mean, mine isn't rechargeable, but.
Yeah,
It's not really a question, it's something, when we cleaned out my mom's house, my dad was an inventor, so he had all kinds of electrical stuff and pieces of everything. And, this was in New Jersey, so I took them to the local, high school and vocational school.
Oh, great.
And I let them use them as, items to do whatever they need to. Plus, there is a place down here in, West Palm, and I don't remember the name of it.
Resource Depot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they take a lot of things like my coffee bags that I refuse to throw away.
Yes. Yes.
To use for art projects and
Yes.
things like that.
Really, really great spot.
And
They're
then
great.
also, like some of the nursery schools and even some of the senior centers
Yeah.
took our VHS tapes and
Yeah.
things like that. But, that was a few years ago.
Yeah,
But
Right.
still, that's, I
Yeah.
always try to upsell it or upcycle it before I put it
Absolutely.
into the trash or.
there's so many things that can have another life.
Yeah.
So great question. It does take a little bit of time to try and find the right spot for it. So
Right.
if you're not able to do that, maybe there's a way to reach out to
Yeah.
others who know how to.
now the Resource Depot.
Yes.
Is that used things or just new?
Yes, so Resource Depot, you have to make an appointment. You can't just run down there. You have to put a list of what you want. So you do it online, and they have everything from those books of fabrics, like you go like a decorator's place to pick out the curtains. Well, they get things like that. So you can go in there, and it's a lot for teachers, like old crayons. They'll have a bin of purple
Those
crayons,
pens.
red, those pens, fabric, books, all kinds of things. Teachers can go in there for a $5 bin or $10 bin. You get a big bin and you fill it up, and they get stuff for their classrooms. Like there's frames, there's all kinds of things, and they use it for art projects. They get the crayons, I was a preschool teacher, just so
Yeah.
you know. That's how I started.
Do you
my
have to
world.
make an appointment to take things there?
Yes.
Also?
Because they don't take just anything anymore.
Okay.
They have to vet it, but they will take like the coffee bags or coffee filters, things that could be used in art projects. They have shows every year where they have teens make fashion out of recycled stuff, like the coffee bags. They'll make this dress, and or they'll have artwork that they've repurposed things into the artwork. All those like velvet paintings of the dogs playing cards, crazy stuff like that. They'll have that there, and artists will take it and repurpose it into something else totally cool. And they have shows with just that stuff.
And where is that?
It's like in that warehouse district off Belvedere down there.
Oh.
It's just, it's on Georgia.
Oh.
But go online to Resource Depot, and I heard, my friend told me that they changed something up, but I can't remember what she said.
Okay.
But there's a lot of places like here, your books. Do you know the library in January, our #1 fundraiser is our book sale? This whole room is packed with books on the tables, under the tables, and that's how we fund the library, with all these things, all these, this new TV that I begged for, the ceiling tiles, all this stuff, it all adds up to that about 40,000 raise every year for them. But that book sale is one of them, and you just bring them up to the circulation desk. If you have a lot, call ahead. They'll meet you downstairs with the shopping cart, and they'll bring them in. And we store them. There's all these storage rooms around here. Also, we have our big boutique, holiday boutique in December. That we always have it the same Saturday as the boat parade, so people can come because we have a bake sale. But we have big stuff, but then we also have gently used items so that people in the community who aren't as, well off could come and do a little shopping. They can get some stuff, like we have great handbags. I mean, I'm always having things, so I have a bunch of stuff I always bring. But that's how we
And
keep
you
the
know what
library
else?
going.
Old Christmas ornaments, if you want to
Yes.
get rid of old Christmas
Yes,
ornaments.
and 'cause
They're great. I mean, it's.
Right, the library will have a tree. They put a tree
Mhm.
with nothing on it. We put all these ornaments on it, and some's like $1 a piece.
And those Christmas ornaments, things like that, do well at estate sales. We
Yes.
set up whole rooms that are holiday rooms.
Yeah.
And sell, Christmas trees, Christmas ornaments,
Yeah.
anything related to the holidays. There are a lot of homes who end up having a whole room. There's a holiday room. And we'll set that up. We'll put Christmas music on in there. And those things go really well at estate sales.
Yeah.
We
Mike.
have a flowing library, and if you're gonna bring books here, they have an elevator, walk down the
Yeah.
elevator, right? So you don't have to worry about walking up and down the store.
Right. Right. So there's a lot of different places, and I'm very. When I help people, I'm very environmentally concerned about where we're going to put things, and I will take it and go to the recycle. I do a lot of that stuff. So, all right. So now we have our housekeeping. Let's see. Next month we're going to talk about fall prevention. So if you're here and you fill out your eval sheets, that pink sheet, that's your ticket out the door. Make sure your email's on there, because we'll send you, you'll get on the list, and now we send reminders, because there's a lot of people who signed up who didn't come, but that'll get you your reminder for the next event. The hotline, if you want to come, I need to know the day before, because that's when I'm printing everything. If you don't, I mean, you can call me the morning of, but I'm not going to get it, because I'm here setting up. So anyways, there's that. The other thing is the ice cream social. I think you've seen it all in the emails. Every year we do this in August. It's my friend's birthday. She runs the food pantry at St. Ignatius. And when their congregation contracts in the summer, so do the donations. But the need is still there in the community. So every year we have this little party. We have ice cream, get a bunch of food. Last year I think we raised 950. We do weigh it. 950 pounds of food came in. And this year, a friend gave me the idea to have an Amazon link, and we put that out. You may have gotten a text from me on Monday. I've already got a wagon full of food in my entryway. There's stuff just showing up at my door. It's so great. But it's a really great way to help the community, and it's local people. It's people right here that have a need and might not be talking about it. So there's that. It's going to be this Saturday at my clubhouse at my condo community from 1 to 3, and we're going to have a DIY Sunday bar. And I'm figuring out how to put hot fudge out there too. All right.
And what's the kind of food that they need the most?
There's some little things, little flyers over there, and there's a shopping list on the back. And I know they do, it keeps getting updated. Pasta sauce and spaghetti, like just boxed spaghetti. They really need that. I got a lot of pasta sauce right now. I think we need the spaghetti to go with it. So, yeah. And like cooking oil, canned, I think she said they're good on canned meats, but that could be changed tomorrow. So, whatever you feel inclined to do. Every little bit helps and it adds up. And we also have some door prizes. We have some gift cards to Grimaldi's, and we also have a photo shoot from my friend Vazi. She does pet photography, headshots, so she's really great. But I want to thank these two ladies. I think, did we get a lot of good information out of them today? And as always, they have stuff over there on the table. I think there's even things to eat. So make sure you grab some stuff, and if you have your forms, make sure to hand them to Jeff. He'll take them, and yeah, that's all. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.